What if you took a family member to the hospital because they were not eating, gurgling, and had a bed sore? Then you had to leave your family member there for 2 weeks, and when you come back, you find out they've been laying there in their own urine and fecal matter for long periods of time. And that bed sore has now become a leg amputation. This is what one woman alleges has happened to her husband at Mission Hospital.
He came up here because he had bed sores?
Well, the initial reason he came up was because he had rattling in his throat. But I also talked to him about the bed sores and him not eating, which accumulated in McDowell Hospital. And when I brought him home, they were getting worse, and that's when I kept trying to bring him back and forth to the hospital, and they basically telling me to follow up my primary care doctor, which I did, and he ordered Healthy at Home so that the nurse can come out and he can have wound care. But we wasn't home long enough for them to come out because we went back to the hospital because he had a fever and his throat was rattling, and I didn't like the way his bed sores looked. And I took pictures of him before he went in the hospital, and then when I went in there, I was horrified.
Marlene showed Skyline what her husband's bed sores looked like when she arrived. And we blurred the image because it's just too graphic to show online. The video allegedly shows fecal matter all around the bed sores. The bed sores are huge, and they look like there is a lot of pus around the wounds. Marlene says her husband was sitting in his own urine for a long period of time. So long that it ran up his back and dried on the sheets.
So do you think that there was neglect here on behalf of Mission Hospital for the 3 weeks that your husband was up here?
Yes, because, I mean, that condition that I saw him in was just horrific.
Skyline tried to reach Mission Hospital about this case, but they never responded. So we showed the video to a wound care specialist and a surgeon. The surgeon said, not knowing the underlying condition of this man, it would be difficult to say if these pressure ulcers would even be treatable. For example, if he is a diabetic, it would cause the symptoms to be worse, but to save this man from an amputation would require constant cleaning of the ulcers and turning to relieve pressure. Marlene said that when she saw the condition of her husband, she was upset and she let the staff know it. And then what happened? The staff banned her from the hospital.
So this is the first time you've been back to see your husband because they said that you would be trespassing if you came up here.
Yes, and they also told me if I called, they would get a phone harassment on me, that they would call me every 12 hours and give me information on my husband.
And did they tell you, you mentioned something to us, did they tell you that you were not allowed to use a video camera or take pictures of your husband while in the hospital?
Yes, the lady I spoke with, I believe, I don't know if I could say her name, but the one that called me and told me that I don't have a trespassing thing, you know, and it was okay for me to come back. She said, just don't take no pictures or videos, and I said, okay.
So the hospital staff, somebody on the staff, told you that you cannot take pictures of your husband or video of your husband?
Yes, and I told them okay, because I wanted to see my husband, you know.
So what have you decided to do? Have you decided to do the amputation?
Yeah, because I don't want him to suffer. But I'm kind of skittish about this hospital. This is the first time this ever happened to him in this hospital, you know. And like I said, his wounds were horrific. And I couldn't, it just floored me, you know. And everything happened so fast. They got me out of there, and, you know, I almost lost it. I almost had a nervous breakdown because that's my husband and I love him very much. And to me to step in the room to see this, you know, really did something to me. And then for them to do this trespassing thing and then tell me I can't come back on the property if I'll be arrested, and then for them to tell me I can't call or they'll get me for phone harassment, you know, and I'm like, this is just too much.
HCA's Mission Hospital has come under scrutiny by the North Carolina Attorney General Josh Stein. Stein says he wants answers to the over 30 complaints he has received on the hospital. Nurses say they can't give the health care their patients need because the hospital has given them such a huge workload. It has apparently become so bad that nurses are joining a union. And it seems the hospital did not like us speaking with Miss Hutchinson. Watch what happens toward the end of our interview.
Somebody just say something to us?
Some security guard over there.
Okay. Let's see what he's got to say. So, security just came up to us here. Let's see what he's got to say.
Hello, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
You need to get through a media
I'm sorry?
outlet. You need to go through our media outlet.
Okay, I'm not here to speak to the hospital. I'm talking to this lady here.
Well, you're advertising your business right now, aren't you?
No, sir.
I just hang tight then.
What do you mean hang tight? Hey, what seems to be the problem?
You have to go through the media for news, any kind of news stuff. It says news on the bottom of it.
Yes, sir, and I'm interviewing this lady right here.
It's private property.
Oh, it's private property. You want us to leave?
No, sir. I mean, my supervisor's coming. Let him talk to you. I don't.
Are you detaining me?
No, sir. I'm not.
Okay, will you move your car back from mine?
I'll be right over here.
Thank you.
Ooh, Lord, have mercy.
What do you think about that?
This is crazy.
HCA Mission Hospital is supposed to be giving answers to these complaints at the end of April. In Asheville, North Carolina, I'm Chad Nesbitt reporting.